All right, fam, welcome back to the channel. I really didn't have a video planned for today, but I wanted to check in with you guys this week. And so I'm just going to do a quick update, and then we're going to start working on the engine bay for the Skylark. If you've been watching along, we cleaned the Skylark up and pulled the old engine out. We're going to replace the 300 nail head with a LS swap. So we're going to do the 5.3 liter Vortec engine in here. With a 4L60E transmission. But before we go and do that, we're gonna have to clean up this engine bay. So that's one thing we're gonna do in this video. I'm going to remove this AC assembly. I already removed the power steering pump, and then anything over here that we're not going to use, and then anything ancillary here that we don't need. I'm not sure what this was. Probably for a receiver dryer for the AC unit. I'm not really sure what went there, but we're going to demo that out. We have a condenser here we have to go ahead and also demo out. So we'll get that out of the way. I like how it has dual horns over there. I just now noticed that. So we'll keep the dual horns, may relocate them, but for now we'll leave them alone. We're going to get rid of the master cylinder, but for now I'm going to leave it in until we get our new parts, just in case I want to test drive it on the existing brakes. I won't mess with the brakes until I get the engine in, and then I'll be able to determine what kind of room I have for my brake booster, and I could go ahead and still use this master cylinder to at least test drive it when I get the engine in, hopefully. I will have to check on the braking system first before I commit to driving on it. I have not looked at that yet. So, not going to drive the intro out too long. Let's go ahead and clean up this engine bay. We want to get prepped so we can start putting our motor mounts in and getting this engine mocked up. So let me jump to it. I'm going to get this heater core and also this AC heater box out. Probably clean up some of this wiring, hopefully. Let me jump right to it. Watch through the quick intro and we'll get right to cleaning out this bay. Alright fam, as you saw from the intro, we're going to clean out this engine bay, but we're going to start right here with the AC and heater box. We're going to take this whole assembly out. We really don't need it. If I do put AC in it, I'm going to do like a vintage air unit or something to that effect. So we're going to go ahead and just take this whole unit out of here. That way we have a nice clean firewall to work with. We'll see what needs to be filled in back there. I'll have to make some blank off plates so that they could take the place of this heater box until I get my new AC unit in. That may not be for years in the future, so we'll just make some blank off plates, and whatever we do with the firewall, we'll apply that same finish to the plates that I built to cover up this heater box. Another option I have is getting a factory heater box with no AC option. I'm not sure if that's a smaller unit, but it looks like the blower motor for the fans in here, so we'll probably just have to do a custom unit under the dash. I'll figure what I'll do for heater later. At this point, I'm not worried about a heater. We're going to treat it as a race car for now and just go bare bones minimum. So let me get back onto this time lapse and we'll get this heater box out. Alright fam, I just wanted to stop the time lapse real quick and show you guys what I was dealing with. So we had to come way over the top of the fender here. Let me get some light. But there's a screw, or I should say a bolt, way back there between the wheel well here and the firewall. So, and it's underneath this AC box. Hopefully you can see it there. It's way back there. I think normally if the engine was in here, you would for sure have to get the fender well out to reach it. Hopefully that's the last one, because that was hard to get to. So we went ahead and took all the bolts out all the way around here, and there was one deep down, again in between this fender well and the firewall, and you just barely had enough space for like one finger. So I had to reach in there with a wrench all awkwardly to get that one. Hopefully that's the last one. This one down here is a little hard too. You definitely need at least the hood off to get to that one. Other than that, the rest of them were pretty easy, but I can imagine if an engine was in here, it'd be hard to get that one on the bottom. So I think the fender well would have to come out. Keep that in mind if you're ever taking one of these out of the 64 Skylark. So now I'm gonna jump back to time lapse, get this out, and start seeing what else I can strip off of the front of this car. I'm gonna get rid of that gas pedal linkage too, because it's a mechanical linkage. We're gonna go to a cable, so that's gonna go. I might even do drive-by-wire, so I'm exploring that option as well. All right, so let me jump back to time lapse, so that way we can get back to taking this apart. All right, fam, so here's where we're at right now. I had to take another break from the time lapse just to show you where we're at. Here's our heater core. We got that heater box out of the way. We have this piece here. I'm not really sure what it is. Not familiar with these old units, but it's part of the AC. Really not sure what it is, to be honest. It's probably leading over to evaporator core. So that's what I'm assuming it is, and it's here inside the fender well. I took out the bolt here, and there's a bolt down there. So I'm not sure what we're gonna have to do to get this out. It looks like we have to take the whole fender well out anyways. See, this was that bolt that we couldn't reach with the heater box in here. We had to reach deep back in there to get that nut off. But it looks like we had to take the fender well out anyways to get this evaporator core out. So I'm going to get to doing that now. So let me put you guys back on time lapse. We're going to take this inner fender well out, and then see if we can't get that evaporator core and all this piping out of the way. That way at least we have a nice open firewall. Not sure what we're doing with the heater core yet. And now obviously I got a bunch of leaves to clean up in my cowl there. The cowl is just full of leaves. So I'm just going to jump back to it, take that gas pedal out too, and then we'll start looking at what we need to do to clean up this firewall. We want to have it looking nice when that new LS is sitting in here. So we got to get this cleaned up real nice and possibly paint it. But let me jump back to this time lapse, and we'll get this fender well out and start working on the rest of this firewall. Alright, so we got the wheel well out. Now we can see all we need to see here, especially when it comes to taking out the rest of this AC system. Now you can see it real good, easy to access. The wheel well's all the way out. Now, I mentioned before, I will figure out this heater core and what I'm going to do with this heater box here. I may see if I can find on eBay a heater box for a heater only car. That way I could just delete the AC altogether. I'll worry about the AC at a future date, but for now it's going to be a no AC car just to get it up and running. So continue on, we're going to clean up the firewall. Just want to remind you guys, and if you guys have been following the channel, you already know this is kind of like a barn find per se. So we're gonna still see all the leaves. Don't mind the bolts here from the inner fender well. But we gotta clean all these leaves out. They're everywhere. So just generally cleaning all this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back to time lapse and get these leaves cleaned out and do the firewall. Just continue on the firewall. I don't know. I'm kind of playing it by ear right now. All right, so I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse, and I'm gonna get these leaves cleaned out here, and then we'll start working again on this firewall. One thing I had today was an idea that this car is going to be my daily driver, I think. So I kind of had an epiphany that I think this car here is going to be the daily driver. It just makes sense. The Camaro is cool, but the back seat's not that big, especially when you have kids. The Jeep is cool, but it's not anything you'll take to like a car meet or any car show or anything like that. And then obviously you guys know I got the Audi, but the Audi is just basic, to be honest. So this here, the Skylark, I think will make a good family car slash daily cruising hot rod. So it's got the space. The back seat's bigger than the Camaro. Easy enough to fit some car seats in there for the kiddos. It's got some style. It's got like that Chevelle feel to it, especially once we get the body work done. But I'm gonna rock it like it is for now. But I just came up with the Skylark being my daily driver, so that's going to be the premise for this build, is a daily driving hot rod. But let me jump back to it. Enough of me talking. I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse. I'm gonna vacuum out these leaves up here in the cow. All right, fam, so we back here. I'll show you where we got the evaporator core out of this fender well here. We had to remove the inner wheel well to access it, but that's done. That was pretty heavy, so that's going to take some weight off the car too. Again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do here to fill that gap. I'm not going to worry about it now. And again, I'm going to probably look for a factory no AC heater box so I could put here, so I could still have a heater. I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do there. I might even have to custom fabricate something under the dash, a whole new heater setup. But I'm not gonna let that slow me down. It's all about the LS swap. So again, we're gonna continue across this firewall. Now we have some wiring here we gotta address. So it's some pretty janky wiring. So what I'm gonna do is just strip back this insulator here, which is basically just like an electrical tape. So I'm going to cut that all off, expose all the wires, and then get rid of the wires that I'm not going to use, and retain the ones that I need. There should be maybe 3 or 4 wires that I actually need in there. One will be a starter signal. There should be a battery wire to connect to the chassis. So like a ground wire will be here, and then your positive wire being that looms there. So I'm going to sort that out. And then the rest here in this chassis harness, I'm not going to even touch. Those are for headlights and turn signals, so I don't even need to touch that. I'm just going to leave all this alone for now. I'll probably re-loom it later, but for now I don't even care. I'm going to just start demoing out this insulator here around this wire loom, and start sorting through which wires I'm keeping, which wires I'm getting rid of. All right, let me jump back to time lapse, but we're almost there. then we could start the scrubbing and cleaning. I do have to take out that condenser there as well though, so I will have to demo that as well. All right, so let me go ahead and get you guys back on time lapse. All right, fam, so as you can see from the time lapse, we got most of the stuff removed from underneath the engine bay that we're not going to use. Stripped back some of our wiring as well, took the loom apart. I'm going to sort out what wires are going to be kept and which ones are going to be deleted, and then we'll re-wrap that with some wire loom. So other than that, that's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually spray it down with some engine degreaser and get this cross member as well as the frame rails and the suspension as much as possible. Also get the steering box and just get everything degreased. And then I'm going to start scrubbing it down, wire brushing it, and flap disc probably this firewall and get it ready for paint. I also removed, as you can see there, the throttle linkage too, because we're going to either go by drive-by-wire or drive-by-cable. This mechanical linkage isn't going to do us any good, so we went ahead and removed that. So let me go ahead and get this thing pushed out to the outside of the garage. I don't have much room here because the Jeep's in the way. It's already on jack stands, as I told you earlier, so we have no axles. So I just got this little space right here to work with. So I'm going to get the Skylark out enough just so that it's not flooding my garage, so I can spray down this engine bay right here. So let me go ahead and jump to that and try to get this detailed out as much as possible before we get that firewall prepped for some paint. We may paint these inner fender wells as well, and also the frame. That way everything's ready for the engine, and we can start putting the engine in and really seeing what we need to do to get it to fit. It should fit pretty good. There's not a lot of space for the radiator here, but we'll deal with that after the engine's in place. So let's go ahead and get this thing out and get it degreased. All right, so let's jump to that. All right, fam, so we got it out of the garage just a little bit, basically as far as we can go because we're right up against the Jeep. But this should work. That way all the water can run out of the garage versus in the garage. So let's go ahead and we're going to spray with some engine degreaser. I'm just using some O'Reilly's heavy duty engine degreaser. So I'm going to get the firewall. I'm going to get the frame and just pretty much everything I could get under here. The suspension, steering. So let me go ahead and spray this down. I'll let it soak for a minute, and then I'm just going to rinse it down, see how it looks. So let me put you guys on the tripod real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray everything. I'm not going to be gentle with it. Only because we're about to redo all of this anyways, so I'm not too concerned about where the water's intruding. We're going to go inside and do all the interior, so I don't care if that heater assembly gets wet because it's all going to be redone. I should cover up the hoses here for this steering box though, because I am going to reuse the steering box. So let me go ahead and find something to plug these holes up with. All right, fam, so that's it. We went ahead and degreased it. I sprayed it down. I didn't do any scrubbing. All I did was spray it down with some degreaser and the water hose. It came out pretty good. I mean, it's definitely cleaner than it was before. However, there's some of this caked on stuff. I'm gonna have to get in here and scrape by hand, and then I'm gonna take a wire wheel to just about all of it, just to knock it all flat again and get it ready for some primer. And then it should be pretty much ready for the LS install once I get it all primer black under here. I'm gonna let this drip dry for now, and I'll come back to it later tonight. I'll cut back to you guys when we're back in the garage here and we're getting some of the caked on stuff and scraping it off and wire brushing it. All right, fam, so it's later in the night. The engine bay is pretty dry now, so we're gonna go ahead and start just scraping and detailing out this firewall, getting all this crusty stuff off. Then I'm gonna shoot some black primer over the whole thing. So let me go ahead and get that started. I'll probably just put you guys on a time lapse again while I knock this out. There ain't nothing I could really say about about this. So I'll just put you guys on time lapse. I'm gonna clean all this up, scrub as much as I can, wire brush it, and again get some primer on it. So let me get it. All right, fam, so we went ahead and scraped everything off that was big and bulky. Anything loose just chipped off, and we cleaned it all up. You could see some of the frame rails exposed now, better metal. So we chipped off as much as we could of the heavy stuff. Now I'm just gonna go through and use the wire wheel and also probably a sanding disc just to knock it down as level as possible. That way it lays on semi-flat. I'm not gonna go too crazy on it though. Not really intending for this to be a show car. More of a street strip, something to that effect. So, I don't know, something I could just run down the track and then take to car meets and cruises and you know, car shows and stuff, but not really a show car. More of a driver. So I'm not going to worry about cleaning it up. It's going to get dirty road grime on it anyways. I'll just get it as flat as possible, shoot this flat black primer, and then later I'll shoot some base and clear on the firewall. I'll probably put a gloss black on the frame rails and suspension parts though. But the firewall will probably just be a primer along with the wheel wells, because I think those are going to go body color when I actually paint the car. But for now, let me jump back to it. I'll put you guys back on time lapse and I'll continue sanding and grinding. All right. Alright fam, so as you can see from the time lapse, we got the engine bay pretty much cleaned out. Everything sanded down as best as possible. I'm not going to go crazy. And now I wiped everything down also, cleaned everything with brake cleaner. Now I'm ready to just tape it off and start painting. I'm just going to tape off the fenders, probably the windshield cowl area there, and then some of the grill. That way I could just shoot inside here and get everything painted up. That way we can start working on the engine. So let me jump to that. I'm gonna tape everything up and get ready to shoot some paint. So as you can see, we got it all taped off. Please forgive my crude taping job, but it's all taped off. All we're gonna do is paint the inside here black. So let me jump and do that now. And I wanna take this time too to tell you guys, if you made it this far, I appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're not already tapped into the channel. Hit that post notification bell too to be notified anytime I drop a new banger. So let's jump right back into it. All right fam, so as you can see from the time lapse, we got the engine bay all painted up, starting with the firewall. We got that sanded down and painted in a matte black primer, along with the cowl there. You can see it's all painted as well. And then we went a gloss black on the upper control arms, the frame rails up here, and the cross member. We also did the upper radiator support and the lower radiator support, all in a gloss black. Oh, and then not to mention we did the steering gearbox too, so that's in a gloss black. So everything here is ready for the LS swap. Next thing we're going to do on the next episode is go ahead and lower the engine in here, fit up our engine mounts, and then start sorting out how we're going to lay out our transmission mount, because that's going to be in a different position. I'm pretty sure the length of the engine transmission combo is going to be different in the LS. So that's where we're at with that. Can't wait to start the LS swap. But I want to take this time in this video before it ends to thank you guys all for watching, especially if you watched it to the very end. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for your support. Thank you so much. You guys are truly appreciated. I also want to say we're almost to 500 subscribers. I think we're at 498 at the recording of this video, so I'm super happy about that. But the next goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers. The reason why that's the big milestone is because at that point I can start getting a cut of my ad revenue. Right now YouTube is the only one making 100% of my ad revenue until I reach that 1,000 subscriber mark. Right now I get not a penny from any of the ads that run on my video, even though I put 100% into the content. However, I'm not going to complain about it. I do appreciate everybody, and I do enjoy the process of making the videos. But it would be nice to be compensated for the time that's lost from actually working on the cars, to take time to shoot the videos and edit them, just to make it worth it. So with that being said, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified of my next episode. Until next time, stay good, family. Peace.